There were times I was lost, dark had fear, couldn't see through the rain. In the end it was clear, hit the fan. I was more than one man who was there to lend a hand. Together we'd stand, always at my back, my guardian soldier. Team put together, united we conquer. Blessed is he who in the name of charity carry me when I'm weak straight through the valley of darkness. Pitch blackness, the heartless, regardless, fear couldn't part us. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. Thick and thin, there by my side. At times we collide, but in the end we ride. We ride, 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 ride. Hold it strong, united we stand, divided we fall. Together we belong. I am my brother's keeper. Keep on, hold it strong, united we stand, divided we fall. Together we belong. I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper.
Welcome back, Moto fans. We've got another great show lined up for you today for another episode of ProMX Between the Rounds. Before we get into it, today's show is brought to you by Graphics by Aqua, Desk Grip Products, Southeast Pools, Wolf Building Compliance, Kimber Constructions, Works Racing, and Seaview Carpentry and Maintenance. Joining me on the line again tonight to relive some of the key events and talking points from the series, the Outside Gate's very own Steve Hall. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, Pete. Thanks for having me again, man. So it was good fun last time. So, yeah, we shall do it again.
It was good fun last time, and I've received a lot of good feedback from that episode, so I'll have to get you back on again.
Yeah, anytime, man. I'm always keen to talk moto. I talk too much, as we were talking about before. You've got to tell me to shut up a few times so this show doesn't run too long, huh?
But that's perfect for a podcast, man. It gets rid of all the dead space.
Yeah, no dead space with me, that's for sure.
Well, we were just talking about it off air, but like about an hour or so ago, we had some breaking news regarding Peter Stevens. They've gone into voluntary administration.
Yeah, pretty heavy stuff, like, well, that's, definitely as far as Victoria goes anyway, it's the biggest dealership, in Victoria, and always has been,
I was reading an article saying that they are the biggest retailer of motorcycles in Australia.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's pretty devastating. They put so much back into the sport, especially in Victoria. Like they sponsor the Victorian Series. They sponsor a heap of like ride parks. They put a heap of money into the Sandmaster Series at Rhys Budd. They really, really are massively behind the grassroots series down here. So I read that they're looking for a buyer. So I hope there's a way out. Yeah,
so any cashed up listeners out there, you better get on down there and make an offer. And I think they said there's like across Australia there's like 400 employees or so. There's a lot hanging on it. That's the people that's the people you feel for the most, I guess. We can find somewhere else to buy stuff, buy bikes and buy parts, but there's probably an old fellow there that's worked for him his whole life, that sort of thing. So it's 5 decades, I think they were talking, which would sound about right to me because I'm nearly 5 decades old, Pete, and I can never. Yeah, they've always been around my lifetime. So
yeah, I'm sure in that time they've survived some trials and tribulations. So it's not the end yet, and like we see with KTM, it looks like KTM might end up riding it out. They've restructured, so hopefully Peter Stevens can do the same.
Not a good sign, we know the power sports industry as they call that where you group in moto with push bikes and jet skis and all that sort of stuff boomed massively in COVID, and then after a boom comes a bust, and that's what caught KTM out. So it is tough times for that industry at the moment, but hopefully Steve-O's get through it somehow.
Yeah, for sure. I've got a mate that's a sales rep for one of the wholesalers in Australia, and they're definitely doing it tough, I think, across the board. Like the moto industry, especially retail, is doing it pretty tough at the moment. So, let's hope for some better times very soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right, we had some other news this week as well with round 6 of the ProMX Championship. It's moved from Nowra to Canberra. It's a pretty big big breaking story.
Yeah, we were talking. We're not really sure what's happened with Nowra. There's rumours out there of different things, but there's certainly nothing concrete there. But either way, whatever has happened, we're going to Canberra. Last time at Canberra was 21.
Yep.
We were just talking about before. Pete looked that up, and honestly, I can't. Pete could remember it a little bit. I can't. I would have watched it on the TV, and I can't remember it at all. I'd have to go back and find it and rewatch. I can't remember what it was like at all. But do you know what sort of track it is? Like when I think Canberra, I don't know. I'm just imagining it's a hard pack track. But
yeah, if I remember it correctly, it's a hard pack track. It's got some slight undulation, a few big tabletops. It's definitely one of the typical sort of New South Wales-esque type tracks.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well. One thing I don't mind, it's a bit closer for me, so a bit closer for you, Pete, too, I suppose, depending if you're flying or driving. But, yeah, I'll be driving to that one, and it'll be a little bit closer for me. So
I haven't even looked yet. I thought Nowra was fairly close.
Nowra's a bit further on. For me, anyway, man, like you be coming straight up the Hume, whereas I'm going cross country through kangaroo territory again to head out that way. So,
well, I've just had a look on the maps. It's about an hour and a half shorter for me. Bring it on.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And I guess the good thing is, Pete, that they've had another club pick it up really quick by the sounds of it. So
Yep. So well, hopefully we see Nowra again on the schedule sort of in coming years, just for another venue. It'd be good to see it up there. I think a lot of people love that. It's a ride park. Love that facility. Yeah. And it's another hard pack track as well. I've followed that on social media, and it's definitely sort of a dry hard pack type track. So anyway, let's roll with the punches, and I'm looking forward to Canberra now.
Yeah, well, Canberra in July, you better take your thermal underwear, man, because
it's gonna be cold.
She's gonna be cold. So I'll still probably swag it. I've swagged it in colder temperatures than what'll be there. But you need to be layered up, man. You need to be definitely layered up.
Yeah, I've never been to Canberra, but the one thing I have heard over and over again is how cold it gets. So
cold.
Yep.
Cold.
I might have to get a diesel heater for the van. Before then.
It, man.
Might have to sell a few photo packages. So anyone listening to this, if you're racing, help a brother out.
You need someone there who sells those diesel heaters. Where would you go to buy one of them, Pete?
I think any of the camping places sort of does them, and you can get them online. So
you need one of them to sponsor you.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Get one of them to sponsor you,
like a BCF or an Anaconda or Kings full drive. The Kings
they make everything. Yeah, that's it. It's not bad stuff too, like. It's a bit of King's camp and stuff. It's a bit of one of those things, people sort of. It's a bit of a joke, because they make everything sort of cheap and that. But some of their stuff's not bad, man.
I've got a few things. I think my swag's a King swag, and
the swags are pretty good, man.
Yeah, man. I've survived nights in the snow in it, so it's been around. It's been lots of places, and it's still going strong. So man, I'm not complaining.
There you go. You already got your King's ad read ready.
That's right.
And if anyone knows anyone at King's, you better get around Pete.
Yeah, hook me up, definitely.
That's it.
Other news, Brodie Connolly, the penalty that they were appealing has been upheld. So that as in the penalty's been upheld. So he has been penalised. The penalty stands. So he's lost a few positions, and now the points gap between him and Ryder Kingsford is down to 4 points.
Yeah, it seems like so long ago, Pete.
It does.
It almost seems like last season. Like that's so long ago. But I can remember what he did very clearly because they replayed it a lot. They got replayed heaps and shown on different things and that sort of thing. But no, I've said it before somewhere or probably several times. It seems a little harsh to me, the two position. Yeah. Had to be penalised, I guess. I guess.
It's consistency. Yeah. I
But that's a harsh penalty.
I agree, and especially considering at that same round there was riders that definitely gained an advantage up the side of that start straight.
On the start straight, yeah.
You know, and without naming names, Ryder Kingsford. I think he may have been one of them in the second moto. So yeah. You know, it's not. I don't think those riders should have been penalised, and I think there was a far clearer advantage gained up the side of that start straight for the riders that did take advantage of that, even though they got forced wide, than in Brodie Connolly's case. So where I still, you know, I've had this conversation heaps of times. Had it with Kenny Watts today. He'll listen to this podcast, so shout out to Kenny. Kenny says, you know, Brodie got a clear advantage from what happened, and that Ryan Alexanderson sort of had right away and could have ridden anywhere on the track. So the fact that Brodie Connolly got pushed off is sort of almost irrelevant, and he ended up in front of Alexanderson. I still think he would have got him anyway. Where he came on, he was in front, but they were, I don't know, you know, they didn't gain time.
Yeah. If he had his time again, I'd say, you know, this is what Brodie's probably thinking. It's probably what Rhys told him. He probably should
give the spot
let
away.
up and then just go and get him again, because he was going to. There was no doubt he was going to. He's got the pace on all of them, you know. So,
well, unfortunately for Brodie, I think he hopefully will learn a lesson from that, because I can imagine at that stage still he was going for the perfect season, and had, you know, other things not happened since then, he would have blown a massive bonus from that move. And of course, you know, we've spoken about it on our other individual podcasts previously, so we won't go down the rabbit hole. Joel Evans, again, you know, tragic incident at Gilman. It's been amazing to see the aftermath of that, with the celebration of life, the fundraising efforts, you know, the merchandise, ride days. You know, Asminids, who's one of my co-hosts on the podcast, was doing photo packages with all proceeds going to Joel's family. Yeah, it's been really nice to see the moto community come together after such a tragic incident.
It has been, man, you know. And like you said, we've both, you know, spoken about it, you know, spoke about it on my show, and I jump on Main Event Moto from time to time too, and I spoke about it on there and that sort of thing. And it probably the one thing I would like to say is the strength shown by those girls at the service.
Yeah,
damn, like, that's impressive. I've spoken at funerals too many times, and I know it's not for everyone. And his sisters and Michaela in particular, they were so strong, man. That was unbelievably impressive. So,
well, he's definitely left behind a legacy, I think, that will live on for a long time, and he's not going to be forgotten anytime soon. That's for sure.
Did you listen to Pulp last week?
No, I haven't listened to Pulp yet.
Michaela sent Steve an email that he read out. Yeah, because Joel, one of Joel's dreams was to
be on the Pulp show,
sit in on Pulp MX, or not even be like just that. You know how sometimes Steve will have people there, and they're just sitting on the couch watching.
Yep.
Like, I think that was just a goal to do that, and so Steve already knew all about it anyway. He knew of him and I think Steve had mentioned it like just after it happened, or whatever Pulp show that was. But yeah, he read out Michaela's email and all that sort of thing. So that was really cool. Yeah,
that's nice. There's been a few of the media outlets in America report on it.
Yeah,
so
all of them, from all the ones I listened to, they've all mentioned it. Yeah.
Well, it's like Michaela said. You know, she wants his legacy to live on, and the stories continue to be told, and it's created ripples around the whole world.
Yeah. Not sure what else to add.
Sure.
Other than I guess you know, moving forward, I'm kind of excited to see a gate drop at Traralgon as a bit of restart, a bit of a reboot.
Yep. I went to Traralgon for the Vicks and the weekend after, and it was the same for me. It was really, really nice to get out there and have a fairly uneventful weekend. If and just it was like the sun coming up again, basically, and
So I haven't seen a gate drop since. So I'm really looking forward to just first practice, like just see people out there enjoying themselves and some positivity and that, and like, have you ridden yourself since?
multiple times? I actually rode the Wednesday after Gilman. I was really keen to get out on the bike again, because for me that is my that's my therapy, and it was actually really, really nice to get out for a ride and clear the head. Yeah, man, I only got a chance to do that just yesterday. So, and it was fantastic, man. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's definitely good for the old brain, getting out on the dirt bike. It is, man. Throttle therapy. That's it. That's it. That could be the name of the podcast. We'll have to. There's probably one. There already. You go. Yeah. Yep. Throttle therapy. I like it. That's it. That's what I call it, man. Because you're too busy to think about your problems, man, or what's bothering you. You know, you're so busy on the job at hand of riding the bike, and you're also getting a weights workout, a cardio workout, and like fresh air like rammed up your nostrils. So no wonder it's good for you. I've said it before. Like after a good ride, when I get back in the car, or even after I'm packing up at the track, I almost feel like it's a reset. So all that weight that you carry and all those things, those lingering worries and stresses, whether it's bills or whatever you got, some idiot at work's giving you the shits. Yeah. It's like a reset. It's like all that stuff washes away, and you see it with fresh eyes. Like, now I'm going to tackle it from this day onwards. Yeah. And obviously some of those stresses might still be there, but it just clears all that shit away. Yeah, and I find it especially if you ride good. Oh yeah, if you ride good, like like I've said before, I'm a shitty rider, but if I ride good for my skills, I just feel so good afterwards. Yep. So yesterday was like that for me. So, well, you already said it. The next round is at Traralgon, and I did a podcast about the Vicks there, but. This is a ProMX podcast, and I imagine we're going to have some different listeners for this one. So I'll sort of cover a little bit of the ground as to what we can expect for the ProMX round. So for anyone that knows Traralgon or doesn't know Traralgon, it's a sand track with a hard base. I sort of described it as almost like if Traralgon and Wonthaggi had a baby, it'd be Gilman. If there was another track that I had to sort of compare to Traralgon, it actually is Gilman. I don't think it's quite as deep as Gilman on average, but there's certainly sandy sections there and other sections that sort of are sandy with a harder base. So I think that anyone that did well at Gilman is going to do well at Traralgon. So we're going to have a bit of hopefully, see some continuity for riders that actually showed up and had a good result, because there was a few, and we'll get into that shortly. Traralgon, they've widened the track, so they've made a few changes out there. Have you been out there recently, Steve? No, man. No, it's about, I'm guessing around about a decade since I've been there. So, yeah, long time. I'm pretty sure they've changed a lot since then, Yeah. I can remember a basic layout, and I can remember the road in, which we've spoken about, might be something worth being aware of for competitors, especially, for competitors, and that sort of thing. I can sort of remember where the pits were and that sort of thing. But yeah, I believe it's changed a lot though. So yeah, I mean the facilities there are good. They've got some all-access roads through the car park, but the actual parking, which I think is going to be the pit area, is very grassy. So there is a bit of rain forecast Friday, Saturday, which, man, I don't like. I wouldn't want to be taking a semi in there, put it that way. But I'm sure they'll have all that sort of stuff covered. The only question I sort of have in that regard is when we have a regional event or even a state event out there, the car park is quite full, and the car park is going to be pretty much the whole pit area, I think. So I still don't know where spectator parking is going to be out there, or where they could put it.
Yeah, because from memory, there's not like an extra paddock they can loan off a farmer or anything because it's bush.
Yeah,
it's bush either side, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is,
and it's quite a. I mean, it's a sealed road, but it's not a big wide road where you can park people down the side of the road out the front or anything like that.
That's going to be that would be a problem.
Fairly
I think.
Narrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'd be allowed to do that. I think that they'd get in trouble for doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fast, the road. I think the speed limit out the front is 80 or 100 as well. So
yeah, it's just your typical sort of narrow bitumen country road. It's not a goat track, but it's just not a wide road either. So
yeah, I'm 100% sure they've figured all that out in advance, and they'll have a plan. Actually, speaking of that, well, the track maps just come through, so the spectator parking is going to be across the road. So as we suspected, the privateer pit and the pro team pit is going to be where the usual car park is. And spectator parking is going to be across the road.
Across the road, so farm across the road. Okay. Oh, that's good then. Yeah, that'll be perfect. And that solves a lot of things we were worried about then.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a big red section that says no standing along Traralgon Creek Road.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So they're, like you said, they would have thought of all these things. So
yeah. Oh, that's good that they've got a solution there, because that's something I was sort of worried about for a long time leading in. But that's going to make it an awesome event.
Because really, I mean, we've talked about it a few times, Pete, and that the only thing we were kind of worried about is that getting in and out on Sunday morning and the road and the car park and all that. That was our only concern. So if it sounds like they've got a good solution to that. So yeah, it's really good then.
Now, well, as far as the rounds go, this is probably one I'm looking forward to the most. I love this track. I love racing there. I love riding there. I loved the Vicks there a few weeks ago. So I think it's going to make a sensational round of ProMX. So, for anyone in Victoria, tell your mates, get out there. It's awesome for spectators. So you stand at the bottom. For anyone that hasn't been out there, you sort of stand at the bottom of the hill, and the hill rises up in front of you, so you can see from anywhere around the track. So you can walk sort of 360 degrees around the track. You can probably see 85% of the track from just about anywhere you stand. So it's just going to be an unreal round, I think. And they've made a few track changes out there, which I think are definitely going to help once the ProMX guys come to town as well. They put them in place for the Vicks, and they made a few little minor changes between the Saturday and the Sunday as well. And, Kyle Webster, Jed Beaton, Brodie, Connolly, Cade Kingsford, Kyle Woods, they all came out to race the Vicks, Seth Birchall. So a lot of these top ProMX guys. So we got to see him out there and sort of get an idea of what the track's going to be like when the big show comes to town. They've widened it up a little bit, and it's fast. Like, it's going to be a fast track. Yeah, I don't know about you. Do you like fast tracks?
I don't to ride, man, but I do to watch. Yeah. Yeah, to watch, man. Yeah.
No, it's going to be cool. Plenty of opportunities for passing, inside lines, outside lines, and it rutted up really well too. I don't know if you saw any of my photos. There was a few sections there that were pretty hectic as far as ruts go.
Yeah, it sounded like a Kyle Webster track, man. So
funny you say that. Yeah. Well, that's a good segue, Steve. We'll talk about MX1 then. We're going to change the format up a little bit for these shows. So we'll go through each of the classes. It is a between the round show, so we'll sort of recap a little bit of Gilman, and then we'll talk about Traralgon for each of the classes and what we think we might see. But I think you're right. It's going to be a Kyle Webster track. Like I said, it's similar to Gilman, and who won the first moto at Gilman?
Yeah, and I mean, he was riding a different track, really, wasn't he? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Blazingly
Yeah.
fast. And I was a bit skeptical when I heard the accounts earlier in the year about Kyle and Jed being so much faster than everyone else. And I did actually think it was sort of a Wonthaggi bias, but I think they've been doing it at every round, haven't they?
Yeah. No, it's definitely a thing, you know. I mean, Wonthaggi, it probably exaggerates it, but there's no doubt that those two are the class of the field. And on a sandier track, Webby, you know, from what we've seen, he seems to have Jed covered a little.
Yep.
On the sandier tracks. Yeah, and then it's a bit of a who's next. You know, who can pinch one off them, who can pinch a moto, who can maybe pinch around, that sort of thing. But yeah, it is the Jed and Kyle show. That's for sure.
No, definitely, and I think it's going to be the same at Traralgon. Like I said, we got to see these guys race there a couple of weeks ago. Kyle actually broke a fork, so he only raced one moto on the Saturday in the All Powers with him and Jed together. And Jed actually...
He broke a fork?
Yeah, he broke
a fork?
Yeah, his forks. Yeah, yep. So...
fair income?
Yeah.
Like where? How? Where? Like...
something internal in his forks.
Oh, just something internal let go?
Yeah,
okay.
Shat itself, yep.
Wow, okay.
But Jed led from start to finish. And I apologise for any listeners that have listened to the Vic show, but I've got a bit of a theory about these two now when it comes to like the regional events and the lead up to the ProMX when they're racing the same tracks and as well as their training. So I heard an interview where Kyle said that he doesn't mind sitting behind Jed Beaton, and like I get to see these guys train a fair bit, and often Kyle will sit behind Jed when they're doing their motos. And that's what it seemed like a few weeks ago out at Traralgon. Jed led, like I said, from start to finish, but Kyle was right behind him. And, he didn't look like the Kyle Webster that pushes, where he gets a little bit loose and rides a little bit out there. He was just following Jed around and finished second. But I don't think that's what we're going to see at the ProMX. I think he's got something up his sleeve, and I think he's doing it just to be able to sort of see where he's faster, where Jed's faster, where he can pass.
Yeah.
And I think at these sort of, for the, these events, whether it's regional or state events, and even up in Queensland, I know the last round that Jed went 1-1. Yeah, at Warwick this weekend. Again, that trend, I still wouldn't count out Kyle when, the ProMX when it actually really counts.
He's using it to gather intel and see lines and all that sort of thing. That's your theory, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Nick said on the Moto Online show, he's questioned both of them and said, how can you be 1% better? And, they both provided answers. And I actually think maybe that's Kyle's strategy. Like, because it's true. Like, how can you be 1% better? And I mean, there's actually, for these races that don't count in the big scheme of things, there's no point being in front. Like, you're not gaining much, but you can gain a lot sitting behind. That's Ricky Carmichael talks about it all the time.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He mentions a lot that he likes being second. He likes sitting behind Stu.
Yep.
And Chad and seeing what they were doing and watching them and
Yeah, you can adopt the faster lines. You can, where you've got to make up time, and where you can pass.
Yeah. Whereas if you're the guy in front, you don't know what's going on. You can hear when they're a bit closer or when they're not and that sort of thing. But you a tiny bit of intel compared to sitting right on the back of someone and watching exactly every move they make.
And when you're leading, like changing lines and trying a different line, it's a massive risk. But if you see the other guy doing it and he's gaining time, or track position, then you've got, like you said, you've got some intel that you can action and be relatively confident that it's going to be better maybe than the line that you're taking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I can't wait to see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, at Gilman, they only did the one moto, and we don't know, there's been no announcement if or when a second moto will run. I could only assume that they're going to add a moto at QMP later in the year. I don't think they'll just let it be that there's just one moto, like they're down one moto. I think they will try squeeze a second moto in somewhere, and QMP is the obvious choice, being a 2-dayer.
Yeah, which sort of makes an interesting twist to the final round. Extra points on the table and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So.
The only thing that where I think it can sort of change up the series is Gilman, I think, was Kyle's track. QMP is a hard pack track, and Jed did really well there at the last round last year. So, might be sort of slight advantage Beaton. I don't know. Yeah,
it could do. Yeah, it might be get a bit of the luck of the draw there for him.
Yeah. As it stands, so Jed now leads Kyle by 13 points in the championship. Kyle's moved up to second. Crawford and Clout, we spoke about it the last show about, the next best guy. They're both now, 20 and 21 points respectively behind, with 1 point separating them. So, really.
That's the fight for third, basically, isn't it? That's the fight for third. Yeah.
Do you think?
I mean, you never know what can happen, but generally, and looking at it now, that's the fight for third. Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of barring disaster for Jed and Kyle, can you see in any world where Crawford and Clout are going to bridge that 20-point gap?
No.
No, likewise.
No, I can't. I definitely can't see that. No. No, not. Yeah, not. It would take disaster.
I think so.
A breakdown, an injury. And anything can happen, but that's way too much. Way too much already.
Yeah.
So I think they're fighting over. Over third.
Yep, the minor step on the podium.
Yeah.
Saying that, how good was Clout's ride at Gilman? Went down early. Yeah. Man, he got loose. Definitely got loose.
Yeah.
Did you see much of that?
Yeah, he had the full. He had the full bullet head look going, just like on a mission. Like he was just tearing through. Yeah. I do remember it well. Yeah.
I thought watching him that he may have been the fastest guy on track, but his lap times, because he looked like he was just on fire and on rails, but his lap times were still slower than Kyle, Jed, and even Nathan Crawford had a better fastest lap.
Really?
Yeah. So that surprised me when I went back and looked at the lap times.
But I'd say, riding angry, when riders are riding angry, they get a bit loose and a bit spectacular, and they look a bit faster.
Yeah. And he's coming through the field. Yeah, he's coming through and past slower riders as well.
So he's blowing people away, and it looks faster. But I would have thought he was the fastest guy out there. The way he was just tearing through. But that does make sense. Yeah, absolutely.
And the other one I wanted to shout out to from Gilman, Levi Rogers. Like this year, he's just cementing himself as the number one privateer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just seems to step it up every time he's out on track, and I think. We sort of said it about Zach Watson. Zach Watson's got his hands full for that title now.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those two both doing great. But Levi sitting fifth in points. Privateer fifth in points. There's 5 or 6 factory riders behind him.
Yeah. It's a pretty impressive effort, isn't it?
Very impressive, man. Yeah, and it is like there's no luck or anything. There's no special reason for it. He's just getting it done.
Yeah, he's consistent as well.
He's just getting it done. He's a fixture in that sort of top 10 or more than top 10. He's like a fixture in the top 8 now. It's just that's. He's one of those guys. So
hopefully we can see him continue that form. So, upcoming round at Traralgon, Kyle and Jed, I don't think anything's going to change based on what I saw there a few weeks ago. Their lap times were nearly 2 seconds faster than Connolly and over 3 seconds faster than Purvis in the first moto on the Saturday when they were all on track together. So, again, I think those guys are going to be, a step ahead of everyone else. Yeah, can you sort of see anything different happening at Traralgon?
Nah, man, nah. I think we're just going to be watching to see how those two guys go.
Yep.
And then, but there's interest in who jumps up in the mix, could see something special out of Gibbsy, for instance. Yeah, you can get things like that just, like, wow, where did that come from? I won't surprise me if NATO wins a race this year.
Yep.
Wins a moto. It surprised me if he won a round. If anyone wins a round apart from Jed and Kyle, that'll surprise me. But I could see NATO just having a lights out, one moto sort of thing. Like, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And probably Cloudy too, It's just, yeah.
Well,
I just sort of almost expect it from NATO, I reckon.
Yeah, the one thing with Traralgon is that none of these guys have really raced there. Like Jed and Kyle have been there once, raced there once. Yep. But I don't think that's, going to give them a distinct advantage as far as the experience there goes.
Yeah.
That is the only thing I can sort of see that might mix it up. As far as the style of track goes, being quite fast, I could see maybe that will work for Crawford and Cloudy. But, I don't know. Like, I think Connolly is I know he's MX2, and I think he is one of the best all-round riders in Australia right now.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And to see those guys, that far ahead of him, for me, just went, I just can't see anyone bridging that gap, like without something crazy happening. And like after that, I don't know, I don't really see any major surprises in the MX1 class, to be honest. Someone might have a great day, but I still think it's going to be, Crawford and Clout fighting for third, and Gibbsy maybe, then Levi Rogers and Wilson Todd sort of in that next group. Yeah. So I think most of the action is going to be in the other classes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still good racing in MX1 still though, cause
definitely. There'll be races within the race.
But even Jed and Kyle, I think that Kyle's going to have the edge because of the sand.
Yep.
But Jed's going to be within 2 seconds of him still. It's just there's no. I don't think Kyle's just going to disappear. It'll still be close.
No,
and it'll still be like one mistake away from Jed getting him, sort of thing. So it's still, and they're just damn impressive to watch, especially watch live.
Yeah. And it's definitely no Coolum. It's not that kind of sand. It has the base is very, very hard clay. So I don't think Kyle's advantage is as big as it might be at say, Wonthaggi or even Gilman.
Yeah.
But I tend to agree with you. I think, it's going to be a Kyle Webster-ish track. So.
Yeah.
All right. MX2. So at Gilman, Brodie Connolly's perfect run, removing the penalty side of things, he still won the moto, came to an end. So he got one win, and then Ryder Kingsford got the win in the second moto for the overall. Ryder, to me, looked like he stepped it up at Gilman, and I think he's ready now to challenge for a title. I could see this happening a little bit more often.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I don't know. I need convincing this weekend.
Yep.
I'd say is where I'm at. I'm still at this is Connolly's he's just going to go that points gap and whatever. I'm still just all in on Connolly for this. And maybe I'm being disrespectful to Kingsford. I don't mean to be. It's just more just how much respect I guess I have for Connolly.
Yep.
What I've seen is just amazing. But I hope that Kingsford does have something for him, because that'll make a great series. And there's been times where Kingsford's been, he gets close, and sometimes it almost looks like Connolly's managing a gap.
Yep.
But then, who knows? It's hard to know. But
So at the Vic Titles, Kingsford started off the day lapping about 3 or 4 seconds behind Connolly.
Yeah.
Moto 2 was closer. By the third moto, he was matching him for speed, and I think there might have been 1 second between the two of them, like at the end of the moto. So
yeah,
I don't know. I was pretty impressed with Kingsford there, and like I already said, I think Connolly is an absolute standout and one of the best riders in the country. But
yeah,
I think on his day,
with Connolly's so consistent, man.
Yep.
It's just consistent.
I still can't see him not winning the championship, but I don't know. I think Kingsford may have a crack at Traralgon.
Just trying to think if the penalties included in the these results that I've got that I've printed out. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so Brodie's still 4 points up.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Ryder wins Traralgon, man, and job's on. Like
he could come out of this round 2 points up. Yep.
He could, yeah. So it's good stuff. But yeah, like there's the only chink in Connolly's armour, and it's a small one, is sometimes he's a bit hot-headed, like that's the only. Sometimes he gets a bit of rage about him, and that's I guess where the penalty stems from. When you think about it, that was a between the ears thing. That
100%.
Right, it was more of a between the ears error than a rider error.
Yep.
And but as far as his starts, his consistent laps, he's staying on the bike. Look, he doesn't do a lot wrong, man. Like it's a hard ask for anyone to race him in this class in the form he's in.
Well, I mean, what we do know is they're going to have found their settings. I imagine the track's going to be shape up quite similarly to the way it was prepped a couple of weeks ago. So it's going to be on. That's all I can say. Like watching these guys go at it in the last moto, it was close. They were all putting it on the line, and I think it's going to be on, man. I'm really excited for this class, actually.
Hey, it just reminded me, just thinking about Traralgon. Was it you on the Vic show where you're talking about there's an obstacle out there that's a little bit supercrossy that's been built out there?
It's not supercrossy. It's just not motocrossy. It's
okay.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's probably like a
what is it, like an on-off? It's like an on-off sort of thing or something like that.
It's an on-off, man. I'm going to be brutal here, but when I look at it, it's a pretty shit obstacle.
Okay. Maybe it's gone. Maybe it's gone now.
I don't think they can change the track. I think it's been signed off and ready to go as is. It's just not, for me, like it'd be great on a junior motocross track.
Okay.
The size of it, it doesn't suit, the best guys in the country. It's not that sort of obstacle. It's like a little single to a little flat tabletop and then off to a little single. It's really fast. Just the way it's sort of shaped, it got so chewed out and with kickers and ruts and pretty treacherous, to be honest.
So it's probably going to end up just a sand section.
Oh, no, it's because it's hard enough. Like it's got clay in it.
It's hard enough, but it's not just going to end up a sand section after one motor.
And it's a bit big for that. It's the only obstacle on the track, I guess, that I was just like, when I saw it, I'd heard a few things in the lead up to it because they've had a few ride days out there that people were like, oh, I don't really dig it. And then when I saw it, like I said, it'd be great for junior bikes. It definitely slowed the riders down.
Is it on a straight or is it out of, like, is it coming out of a corner or?
No, there's a relatively big lead into it. So it's not close to a corner. So they do get a lot of speed before they hit it. They're scrubbing pretty hard because the way it's sort of shaped, it's like a flat tabletop with a valley in the middle, so they can jump off. But if they hit it too hard, they're going to be too close to the knuckle on the far side. So they sort of have to slow down and scrub that first one to land in the middle, but then they're gassing really, really hard on top. So that the top got massive holes in it, big square edge, like where they were getting back on the gas. And then because they were sort of getting a kick out of the hole and then a kick off the lip, some of them were like nearly endoing into the single after it. And it was just, it just wasn't pretty, man. So, I mean, they're pros. I'm sure they'll be fine out there. And it wasn't sort of the obstacle where I was like, it's not like excessively dangerous or anything like that. Yeah, it's just not built for a pro track, in my opinion.
Yeah. The 65 kids might like it this weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Because
they might love it. It'll be just right for them,
because they're going to hit it at the right speed, going pretty hard, and then have to jump off. But saying that, once with the big bikes on there too, it's going to get some big holes in it again. And a lot of the other classes, they were sort of really, really cautious in coming off it. So, either slowing down and rolling the second bit or kind of just sort of, almost just like slowing right down and then popping off with the throttle to keep the front end up and even casing the single after. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how it shapes up. If it's still there, I imagine it will be. But that was me that spoke about that, and I wasn't a fan.
That's it. Yeah.
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
And how about in 13 points, man? That Fergo looking like a model of consistency. How about that?
He was definitely consistent at Gilman.
Say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I can't remember exactly the first two rounds. I can't remember exactly his fortunes, but looking at the points, like he's gone 31 points, 32 points, 36 points.
Yep.
So.
I mean, as far as being a championship contender now, he's over 40 points back from
from
Connolly, which
that ship sailed. But
it's disappointing.
If I hadn't printed this out and I was guessing who was third, I would have thought Larwood was third, and then probably Dennis, and I probably wouldn't have thought of Fergo.
Yep.
Not picking on him, but I just But it's good though, man. Because Fergo's like so quick, man. But
well, I was
so quick, but inconsistent. It's sort of the way I think of him.
Yeah, I was
in previous years.
I was really worried at Gilman with Larwood that crash at the start in Moto 2.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was a season ender. The way he hit the ground, the way he laid there, and then the way he was limping when he got up. That did not look good. So, I mean, the only reason he's sort of in fourth in the championship now is because of that crash. And I don't think that was his fault either. That was just it was a tough one.
Yeah, was it you that I was talking to? Like how he waved the medics away and all that. Like he waved everyone away and got back on his bike and all that. Was I telling you about that?
Yeah, they sort of pushed it off. Yeah, yep.
That was tough, man, because he was struggling.
Yep.
And his mechanic had his bike because he basically crashed at the mechanics area, and his mechanic had his bike and the first aid's over there, and he's just like, he's waved him away and he's limping over, gets back on his bike and off he goes. I thought, that's it, man. Tough.
Yeah. Oh, tough.
I love seeing stuff like that.
Tough as nails. He still didn't score any points in that moto, unfortunately. But
he was way behind. But anyway, at least he just showed some good character.
Yeah, and he's been racing since, which is good to see. So he's back on the bike and training and racing. So that could have been one of those ones, where they get on and they have a crack and then, get some X-rays the next day and go, I'm out, I'm done. So I'm glad it didn't go that way.
It could have been a cracked fib or something, and the adrenaline gets him through, and then then he wakes up the next morning with a blown up leg, and all that sort of good stuff that moto people do.
So two other guys that did well at Gilman that I think are going to be right at home at Traralgon. Jace Cosford, unreal at Gilman. I think he finished fourth overall. and Deacon Pace. He was well touted coming into Gilman, being a sand track, having changed manufacturers earlier in the year. I think there was a few people sort of saying he was going to do well at Gilman. I think he's going to do well at Traralgon as well. So, this MX2 class is sort of heating up a little bit, I think.
How's Rhys Budd going to go?
Oh, mate.
There's a curveball. There's a curveball, yeah.
I'd be too scared.
I honestly hadn't
predict.
thought about it until I was just looking through the list here, and I was like, yeah, green bike. And also, does that mean that young little mate,
Campbell Williams?
Campbell Williams, does that mean his injury's still no good? Is that the reason? Is that part of the
I don't know about his injury. And look, I'm just talking off rumours, but I heard earlier in the year when they announced, just before they announced Ryan Alexanderson, that that just wasn't going to happen with Campbell. So
okay.
I don't know, but it seemed, the source was pretty solid. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, and that's all I've heard. But I think this kind of adds some weight to that because Rhys Budd is a pretty solid signing, I think, for Empire.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and it's also quite odd. Rhys leaving Raceline. That's very odd. I don't know the background of that, but it just seems odd. I thought Rhys and Todd were pretty tight. Like I thought that was, they were pretty tight. So it's an odd thing. I'm sure at some stage the story will come out. At some stage, I'm sure there's plenty of people that know the story, but I'm sure that the story will come out in time.
From a career perspective, though, like take the personal aspect out of it, because I don't know what their relationship is now. I imagine it could still be pretty good, but Raceline,
it could be, yeah.
Raceline this year isn't quote factory anymore in Australia. Empire, the offer at Empire is definitely a step up. I can imagine that the rest of the deal that comes with it at Empire, from a remuneration and bonus perspective, it's probably going to be significantly better than what Raceline can offer. So, I think for Rhys, from a business perspective, it's definitely a step up, and I imagine from a financial perspective. So, to me, when I look at it, I don't think it's anything personal. I think for him, it was just the opportunity came up, and
So you sort of see it as an upwards move for Rhys. I kind of just picture it as a sideways move, but you're sort of saying more of an upwards move.
Well, I think from looking at the bikes, it's a sideways move. I like the Husqvarnas and I think they're a fantastic platform. But from a team and support and financial perspective, I think it's an upwards move.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he goes. Definitely. It's
it's been hit and miss, I think, for riders that have gone from the European bikes to the Japanese bikes over the years. You sort of never know how it's going to go. Some riders transition really well. So,
Rhys was on the Yamaha for
a long time. Yeah,
however many years. 3 years more. It was.
And he never really found that same sort of form on the Husqvarna. We got glimpses of it. So,
no, he never did. No,
you're right. Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's
interesting.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that one. So that's going to be that's going to be one to watch as well.
And who was the youngster? Sorry if I'm talking too much, man.
Not at all, man.
Yeah. Who was the youngster that basically filled in and at Raceline at the last minute? He stepped up from the the whatever the program, the Husky program below Raceline. Stepped up at Gilman.
Jack Kukas?
Yeah. He took Rhys's ride there. Yeah.
Yep.
Or basically, did he keep that? Is he? Because it's a good ride. There'd be a lot of dudes wanting that spot. So
I'd be pretty confident that he's going to step up to fill Rhys Budd's seat. You would think, yeah.
Yeah. Just looking, he didn't score points in Moto 2 at Gilman.
I'm not sure what.
But I don't know why.
I could be getting my wires crossed here, but that might have been a mechanical actually. I think I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, I don't recall an incident with a husky.
Yep.
Young fella from Tassie's doing well, isn't he?
Tassie? Which one?
Kobe Burke. He's a Tassie kid. Yeah.
Kiwi.
Oh, is he Kiwi? I knew he'd come across the water from somewhere. I don't know why I was thinking Tassie. Yeah, doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's riding really well.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but we should have got some intel from Blake. You know all about him.
Yep. No, Blake gave me a list of the New Zealand riders early in the season. I'm pretty sure Kobe Burke was one of those. So yeah, he's doing really well, and did very, very well. He had a sort of, I guess, average round at Appen, but back up to it at round 3. So he might be one to watch as well.
Yeah, I'm just surprised to see him, that far up in points. Basically, I had a mate whose name was Burke, spelt like that. That was, which is an unusual spelling, and his first initial was C, and he was a diehard Honda fanatic.
Yep.
So to see Burke on a Honda really warms my heart. We lost that mate just last year, not long ago. So I think it's really cool, and so always remember. And he did it full quick shade, like mum and dad set up in the pits there. So to be sitting 8th in points in MX2, that's good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to know how he finished up in the New Zealand MX2.
Making it hard for me. I need a producer in the background.
Hey, I'm throwing too many hard questions at you.
Yeah. So 2nd overall for Kobe Burke. Looks like in MX2. So, racing the 250 over there as well. 2nd overall in the New Zealand Nationals.
Yeah, cool.
So the kid can ride.
Yeah, he's obviously pretty handy then, yeah.
And he rides over there for looks like their version of a Honda factory team.
Yeah. No slouch. One to look out for then. Hopefully he does the whole series here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw him training with the Beatons guys at PBI a couple of weeks ago. He was definitely out there. So, I'm not 1,000% sure he was training with them per se, but I'm pretty sure he was. So
good stuff.
Yeah, he can learn some stuff off his fellow New Zealander, Brodie Connolly, who I've claimed as an Aussie now. He's an honorary Aussie, so
he's an Australasian now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it.
Same as Cole Davies. He's definitely an Australasian.
Yeah, we're going to take him as well. Bugger it.
Yeah. We already have.
Yeah.
Been decided.
All right, moving on to MX3. Cade Kingsford at Gilman. Perfect weekend for him, going 1-1. Rough weekend for Kai Woods with the disqualification in Moto 1.
Yeah, that's tough. I feel for him mostly. I feel for his mechanic and the team. Like, just a weird mechanical thing, and the mechanic, like, imagine the panic. Like, you've got this kid who's the points leader, fastest guy out there. His bike stuffs up, and you just instinctively run in there to help.
I mean, I'm not sure they would have, because the race hadn't started. I'm not even sure. Like, in the moment, would you even think about it? Like, I don't know. It's just like, we've got to reset his start device.
That's all he's thinking about. It's like getting back set up. Like, you wouldn't even. It's just you don't prepare for that. Like, there's no. Yeah,
I guess it then to say at this level, then they probably should. They should have been aware of it. So,
but man, it sucks. Like,
for the listeners that aren't aware, he had an incident on the start gate which was on TV, but the disqualification was actually because on a couple of occasions his mechanic came back into the start gate area and helped him reset. and reset the start device. So
Yeah.
there's rules, after the mechanics leave the start area, from that point to the end of the race, you can't have outside assistance. So, yeah, that's what the disqualification was for.
Yeah, so essentially what Kai would have had to do, basically Kai's bike, he's just sitting on it warming it up, giving it a few revs, and it jumped into gear just suddenly twice.
Yeah, on the footage you can see his feet are on the ground.
Yeah, like he's not, he's just sort of leaning back and, just totally weird. And so smashed him into the start gate, all sort of awkward. Basically.
How is it, though? He sort of stays on his feet and the bike launches out. Like, he does exceptionally well. It's almost like cat-like reflexes. If that was me, I would have cartwheeled down the start straight.
Oh.
But he lands on his feet, jumps over the gate, grabs his bike. It's that could have gone way worse.
Would have been a whole lot more awkward than that.
Yeah.
And I would have broke something on the bike for sure.
Yep.
And mechanic runs in instinctively to help set the whole shot device. But in the end, what needed to be done was like, well, bad luck, dude. You're going to have to start without the whole shot device and just deal with it. You use your pace to come back through the field and get a fifth or whatever. That's kind of what that should have happened. But that's all. It's real easy to say that now. Like the panic that would have gone through the mechanic's mind. Like it's just a bad situation. It's just really unfortunate because a guy losing all those points and having a great season.
Credit to him, though. He took it exceptionally well afterwards. I mean, behind closed doors, maybe not so, but publicly took it so well.
Yeah. Within his rights to throw a good old tantrum behind closed doors. I would, but it was handled well. Like the whole team was just devastated. But is what it is, and like, what do we got? Like 22 points behind Cade Kingsford now. Like,
from the red plate to 22 points behind for that. It's a tough penalty.
It is, man. Yeah. It's really tough, and I suppose if he fights back now and gets it, it'll be it'll be pretty that'll be pretty huge.
Oh.
If he was able to, and I guess the thing with Kai's fast enough to win every race the rest of the year. If he put it all together, he is fast enough for that. Cade's fast enough to do that too. But I mean, it is possible for Kai. Like, it is possible
to close that gap.
It could happen.
Yeah,
it could happen.
Well,
but I guess it's just we'll see what he's got.
I think the main part about MX3, and with the exception of these two guys so far, is that the class is known for riders being inconsistent. And I mean, the odds, I think, for these guys this age and the chaos that happens in MX3, I think there's less than likely chance that Cade Kingsford is going to get through the rest of the season without having one of them shit motos too.
He'll have a shocker somewhere, couple of crashes and an eighth or whatever, and Kai wins that one, and bang, there's a chunk of points. Like,
exactly,
you'll get stuff like that, and then there's also the nature of MX3 is you'll get any one of the next 8 kids in this list just goes out there and wins, and takes points off other guys, and or gets in between Kai and Cade and all this sort of stuff.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, probably, maybe a month ago, I didn't think that was going to be possible. After Gilman and then Traralgon for the state title, for me, that couldn't be truer. And I've got a few guys jotted down that I think could definitely win races and be in the top 3 after those last 2 rounds. So,
I mean, even you look down the list, like Kobe Hantis is just going to get better and better.
Yep.
He can win. There's a couple of them coming off injury, but anyway, then obviously Jet and Jack, like those guys can all definitely get in the mix.
Jet Alsop, second podium of the year at Gilman, finished second. Little bit of a gift with the Kyle Woods thing, but other than that, obviously earned his spot on the podium. Jack Devison finished third at Gilman. Now, Jack Devison raced at Traralgon in the MX3 class, went 1-1-2. So beat Kingsford. In the last moto, where he finished second, his fastest lap was still faster than Kingsford. So Jack Devison could be that guy, at the next round. It's, man, his star is rising. You know, we've said it before, he's training with the Beaton's Pro Formula guys. He's training with guys like Brodie Connolly and Kyle Webster and Jed Beaton and Caden Strode. And that's got to rub off. It's got to rub off.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jackson Fuller. He won't be at Traralgon unless he heals like Wolverine. Yeah, he got busted up, didn't he? Yeah. That was nasty too. That was a nasty looking crash. That one. I'm glad he's better than he could have been by the way it looked. Straight.
Yes.
Start straight Moto 2. Yeah. It was right, right where I was standing, and geez, it looked nasty and that sort of stuff. And I did speak to his dad later on to find out, and it was I can't remember exactly, but there was I think there was a fracture in somewhere in an arm and also somewhere in a leg from memory. So I think he had a couple. He's sporting a couple of bits of plaster, I think. From memory. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah.
Well, fortunately for these young guys, they tend to heal up pretty quick. So, wishing him a speedy recovery.
It was one of those ones where they stretcher, neck brace, the whole deal, and holding him tight and all that, which you just hate to see. Like, you want to see them get up and wriggle around a bit, and then before they get carted off, but they didn't. So, that's it. But anyway, he's all got stuff that he will heal from.
So the other one that I wanted to mention could be a surprise. Caden Strode at Traralgon racing against Jack Devison, Cade Kingsford, Kyle Woods for the state title. So he was getting hole shots all weekend. So he raced MX3 and then MX2A on the Sunday. And he was matching the lap times of the top boys. So he was matching, lap times with Jack Devison and Cade Kingsford. So, I think his best results are sort of around that sixth place. He could definitely, be an outside chance for a podium. Yeah.
Because he's a Vic boy, yeah.
Yep.
So I was wondering earlier. Obviously Traralgon's a staple track of Vic guys that do the Gippies, the Gippsland series. So is he from that part of the world? Is he?
He is. He's a Vic guy.
Done the Gippies?
Yeah, he's a Vic guy. He grew up racing the Gippies, and his home track since he was a junior was Rhys Budd, which is like beach sand. So sand is he's got a distinct difference in his results when he gets to sand tracks compared to clay tracks.
And he would have ridden Traralgon, at least probably twice a year, his whole life.
Yeah, if not more. Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yep, and Balin Townsend as well. He was up there. He's 8th in the championship at the moment. He had a pretty good weekend at Gilman. I think 5th overall. And he was looking really, really fast at Traralgon as well. So, like we sort of said, there could be some guys in this class now, as the season moves on, that give Cade and Kyle Woods a run for their money.
Yeah, Seth Shackleton too, WA boy.
Oh, totally.
Certainly, we don't need to explain WA and sand, so everyone knows that.
Yeah.
So that's and he seems to be, he's one that it wouldn't surprise me to just bang, podium, bang, there you go, wouldn't surprise you at all. So he was very close.
Yeah, he won a junior nationals title, so the ability is definitely there.
Yeah. And it's a cool setup that family's got going too, It's a very cool setup there. They're a long way from home, man, and getting around in that little truck and all that sort of thing. It's cool. I had a good chat to his dad at Appen, I think it was. Yeah.
They're definitely all in, aren't they?
Yeah, it's cool, man. Very cool little setup. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Traralgon, it'll be the first time we see the 65cc support class this year. So we'll no doubt see some young up and coming shredders in that class. But Mason as a Galis, I think I've got my money on Mason. He's going to be the guy to beat. Yeah.
Who else? Who else? Because last time we saw 65s, most of the kids that 85s now. They're in 85s now. So who are we looking at?
Of the guys that I can think of at the top of my head, and I think in this mix we're going to get some riders that have probably stepped up. We might see some riders for the first time that have been on the 65 for a couple of years, and then now doing their final year and racing the ProMX.
Ready for this, yeah.
Yeah, but of the guys that I know that are going to do well at Traralgon, Max Laguerre. So he's gone from 50s and 65s last year to 65 and small wheel this year. So he's a young, still a young rider, but he's getting really good results. So he actually took out the Vic title there.
Yeah.
Mason had a mechanical in one moto. He won the other two that he raced, but that gave Max the win. And Lucas Poole, he's another local kid. He also had an issue. So he actually he comes second in two of the races, but then he had a small tip over, and I was standing there like right nearby, and he couldn't get the bike started. And I mean, when you watch these young kids and they're so passionate about the racing, and then kicking this bike over. Oh man, and you could just see his body language. You could hear him like yelling to his helmet. It was, and he was, coming second in the race. I was devastated for him. So, he's another local shredder that has done a lot of laps around Traralgon, and I expect, if it all works and comes together for him, he's going to be up there as well.
No, it's cool, man. I like, I love 65 races, man. Like I've said before, it's if you could bottle the energy on a 65 start gate, like if you could bottle that energy somehow, you'd fix every problem in the world with all that, all that good energy, man. It's just it's so cool. I reckon it's kind of when they're on 50s, it's a bit of a mess, you know. It's a bit of a mess apart from one or two kids. But so by the time they get to 65s, they're real little races, but they're still it's all energy and just this burst of just,
And they still don't know fear.
Burst of energy.
Yeah.
And then when they get to 85s, they're starting to get a little bit smarter and a touch, just a little smoother and a little smarter. But 65s is that perfect blend of, no fear, it's just full energy. It's just all instinct, It's just, I love it. It's fantastic, man. Yeah,
they just hold it open and flap off the back of the thing, and just wherever the bike takes it, it's where they go. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon it's great, man.
No, 100%. No, it'll be good, and I think we'll be talking about some new riders that we've never sort of seen or whatever after this race, because that's sort of what happened last year. It's it's the first time for a lot of these guys to race at a ProMX. So it's the first time we'll get to see a lot of them.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't get the rain, because the wetter it gets, the harder it gets on little bikes.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, they haven't forecast any rain for Sunday at this stage, and Traralgon can handle the rain really, really well. So it will take a lot for that place to be a mudder. Okay. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the car park and the pits, because they're at the bottom of the hill. But the track, I think the track will be fine, barring a monsoonal downpour, the track will be fine.
Yeah, that's all right then, yeah.
All right. Well, that sort of brings us to the end of the classes. Was there anything else that you sort of had any other thoughts about Traralgon or Gilman or any other sort of talking points that we've missed?
The only thing, one thing, man, I find it funny. You would have seen that the expressions of interest for Motocross of Nations.
Yeah, I did.
Expressions of interest. If you're gonna throw your name in, like I guess there's probably red tape as to why they have to do that and word it, but it's like there's no expressions of interest, man.
No.
It's like it's Jet, it's Hunter, and it's probably whoever wins MX1.
Okay, so
like, there's not really any debate.
I saw that, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so do Jet and Hunter and Kyle and Jed, whoever, do they really have to put an expression of interest? If they don't do it, all of a sudden next year.
You didn't fill out the paperwork, mate. We're sending someone else. Yeah,
I was thinking that. It's like, okay, the guy that came sixth in MX2, we'll grab him. Yeah. Sorry, Jet, you miss out.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. So I just, expressions of interest. Huh?
All right. So on that note, who do you? It could be a very simple answer. Could be more complicated. Who would you like to see racing for MXON for Australia this year? Yeah,
well, obviously the brothers, and then I think whoever wins MX1.
Yep.
I think that's the easy way. I think that's the easy way, because it's just like, well, you deserve it because you won MX1. So
you don't think Cole deserves it because he was part of the winning team last year?
No, I think if Jed wins MX1, then Jed deserves to go. I think I would be extremely happy with either guy.
Yep.
And I think that that's the way to they're so even, and I think that's the way to make it fair. If you win MX1, you're our national champion, so you should be the guy.
I guess
and if there's circumstances, someone's got an injury at the end of the season, or there's different things, and I think there's great support for either guy. Obviously Kyle has a relationship with US Honda.
Yeah,
how well they looked after him last year. Craig's got a relationship with Star, where they've worked together with Eli for World Supercross and all this sort of stuff. So I'm sure Jed could get looked after and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think you can't go wrong with either.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, from what I said earlier, now that I think about it a bit more, if Jed wanted to go, that'd be pretty stiff if he won the championship over here and didn't get the opportunity. Yeah,
and you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Nah.
So, and it's Iron Man. They're both going to be good there. If it was Southwick, maybe you'd say, "Hey, Kyle, you're up." Because the sand track. But other than that, it's all good, and just get over there and win it again.
Yep. I don't think the advantage now for I think Jed stepped it up on the sand tracks and Kyle has stepped it up on the clay tracks. I don't think there's a distinct enough advantage for either of them. You give a small advantage. Really. Yep.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a mate the other day, and I'm of the opinion, and I wanted to ask your opinion on this. I actually think that both Kyle and Jed are probably riding the best they have in their careers right now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think they've just elevated each other.
Yeah.
The sport gets better all the time. Riders get better all the time. So, you can't really compare different years and that sort of thing. But I think what they're doing now is like the fastest Aussie moto's ever been,
Yep.
And but you don't know that. You go back, like Dean's last championship year, that was pretty sensational. A couple of those rounds where he just just waxed everyone.
Yes.
That comes to mind as that sort of comparison. But yeah, it's pretty impressive, man. It makes you think. Wouldn't you love to see like exactly what they're doing now on our tracks? Wouldn't you love to grab Febvre and whoever wins in the States this weekend, and bring them over to Toowoomba, for instance.
Yep.
And just slot them straight in and just see what happened. Wouldn't that be so interesting?
Oh, for sure.
On our tracks in our series with those two guys in that form.
Yep.
And see your MXGP and your AMA leading, whoever's leading the championships. Just if you could just grab them, slot them in for a weekend, just to see what happened.
Yep.
Because it's different, like we've seen Kyle go over and Jed go over the last couple of years and do an AMA race and that sort of thing and do really well and finish, wherever. But, like, it's one of them things, like when you watch Kyle and Jed, it looks like nobody could possibly ever go faster than that, doesn't it? It's got that look about it.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't always think that when you see race winners. Them at the moment, those two at the moment, it's like nobody's ever gone as fast as this before. It's really got that look. And it's kind of that look that's how Jet makes you feel a lot when you watch him.
Yeah.
So
I definitely get that watching Kyle, because Kyle's a bit looser. Like, he looks like he's on the edge. And that's what impresses me most about Jed, is that he matches him for pace, but most of the time he looks a lot more conservative and smooth. Yep, 100%. Yeah.
Isn't that one of the coolest parts of the sport, though, Pete?
Oh, totally.
I love that about the sport. Yep. I love it. And you look at, you have the top 4 riders in an MX1 race with 4 different styles.
Yep.
Well,
in the US, you look at in outdoors, the 3 best riders over there in Jet Lawrence, Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton, 3 completely different styles, different body positions,
different body shapes.
Yep, different bike setups. Yep,
everything. Yeah, and it's very different bikes. Jet makes his bike ultra smooth. Eli's the only guy in the world who asks for more power out of a Yamaha 450.
and makes a clutch struggle to last one moto.
It's crazy. So Eli never lets go of the clutch. James Stewart didn't use it. I love that about the sport, man. How it can be so different.
Yeah.
And how you get riders that, rear steering riders and front steering riders, and you can get, tall, long, lanky, tall guys and little short ass guys, and it is so cool, cool. That you watch any other motorcycling discipline, whether it's road racing, speedway, whatever, that most of the riders look fairly similar. It's like you get little differences. But, that's the thing about moto. It's just so different.
Yep.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, different rhythms. Eli will just smash through braking bumps. Jet will skip through them and double them and triple them and make it, look like ballet on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unreal, man. It's, like you said, it's one of the things I love about the sport, and I think that's what makes it unique and keeps us as fans coming back every weekend.
You see Jet at the Met Gala. I still haven't figured out, Pete. Actually what the Met Gala is. I've asked a few people and they've tried to explain it to me, but I really don't know what it is, man. I think it's just kind of, it's about the fashion. I think that's what I could gather. It's kind of about getting all dressed up and going to hang out with other people that are all dressed up.
You see, Steve, there's this thing called Google, and it answers all the questions that we have of the world. So, according to Google, the Met Gala primarily functions as a fundraiser for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute.
Okay. There you go.
Comprised of more than 33,000 objects that span more than 700 years of fashion, the Costume Institute is one of the Met's most celebrated curatorial departments.
And what is the Met? So, the Metropolitan Museum. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yep.
Of art. Well, there you go. Because originally I thought it must have been like an award show, you know. That's sort of what I was thinking. Because of all this red carpet and dressed up, I thought, is this just a similar thing to like the, you know? Well, I'm thinking of the Logies, whatever the American one's called, Academy Awards, isn't it? Whatever. Yeah.
I'll be completely honest. I'd never heard of the Met Gala before this year when Jet Lawrence was there.
I had no. That's why I was asking people, like, what actually is it? I don't. If he's into fashion and all that sort of stuff, yeah. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm definitely not. But like, yeah, go for it, man. If you like that stuff. But yeah, I had no idea what it was, man. Now, and I've seen people giving him shit and that about he's fancy clothes and all that. Well, yeah.
Do you know what a ticket's worth? So you got to buy a ticket. Even the celebs have to buy a ticket. Do you know what a ticket's worth?
Probably $100,000 or something crazy.
75 grand. So
75
safe
grand,
to say, you and I will never be going to the Met Gala.
Nah, not unless we're working as a waiter.
Yeah.
We're working the bar. Yeah, they're making cocktails. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be there anyway, Pete. It's not.
You and me both, mate.
I'm much more of a campfire sort of operator than something like that. Yeah,
for sure.
That's for sure.
Well, yeah, that just about brings us to the end of this episode, I think, Steve. If you like this episode, don't forget to give us a positive review on your preferred podcast platform. Make sure you subscribe to Mental4Moto and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on the next one. Massive thanks, Steve, for joining me again to co-host, mate. It's always awesome. And we've deliberately kept this one brief, but I think when I get you on, man, we could double the length of these shows.
Yeah. Like I said earlier on, you got to tell me to shut up because I could talk about moto underwater, man. So yeah,
I love it. I love it. Thanks to our partners for bringing you this episode: Works Racing, Graphics by Aqua, Death Grip Products, Southeast Pools, Wolf Building Compliance, Kimber Constructions, and Seaview Carpentry and Maintenance. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. On behalf of Mental4Moto, I've been your host, Pete Wolf. Until next time, see ya.